some Brazilian on Peruvian action. Two of the most represented countries in Latin America, I would say. Brazil and Peru. Brazil, Peru, and Mexico. Those are probably top 3. There's a lot of Chileans, to be fair, but unfortunately, a lot of the top tier Chilean players retired. Feels, Halfbreed, Darkness, Dastan, ZvP. Nowhere near as active as they used to be. But here we go. Enough about Chile, because in the top right hand corner we have the superior country. Question mark. We have the Peruvian Zerg player. He is red, representing our very own CranKy Ducklings. It is Ryu, El Condor. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner of Glittering Ashes LE, we have the Brazilian Protoss player representing Eximius Gaming. Did I already say that? I feel like I did. I don't know. It is Shakti, the best Protoss in all of Brazil, going up against the best Zerg in all of Peru. Here we go, and there's a little bit of, I don't want to say animosity, but there's a bit of a rivalry going on here. If I recall correctly, I believe Shakti is the player who knocked Ryu out, down into the lower bracket of the DreamHack qualifiers, the closed qualifiers for Latin America in winter. I remember casting it and I was so sad. I could be confusing Shakti with Parker Mike. I remember casting both. Hold on. DreamHack Winter StarCraft. To Wikipedia. I remember casting both, and it was a feels bad, man. It was a feels bad. Oh god. It was only a couple of months ago. But yeah, these players have gone back and forth in the past, but it's all about current form, you know? I was talking about it earlier. Shakti has been casting a lot of StarCraft, not playing as much, so are his skills anywhere near as refined as they once were? Oh boy. As my mistake, it was Parker Mike. It was Parker Mike who beat Ryu 2-0. I remember that. I was like, oh god. I remember Ryu messaging me after that happened, and he was like, mate, I'm so mad right now. He was so upset at Parker Mike. Oh god. And I'm sure we'll get more of Parker Mike later on. Not today, but you know, in general on this channel. Parker Mike being the best Protoss in Mexico. Unfortunately not here. Shaking my head, Parker Mike, shaking my head. I think he's been playing a little bit of Age of Empires 4. But meanwhile, here we are on Glittering Ashes, and this is a very peculiar map choice. When I think of Shakti, I think of Stargates and I think of Robos. If you're wondering, Shakti, he patented the infamous Nanotoss style, which is just pure Colossus and Void Rays and Carriers and very little investment into Gateway Army and Gateway units. He did that a lot against Terran, and he did that a bit against Zerg as well. But I also wonder what he plans to go for here, because in recent years, specifically this year, he actually started playing very meta. He started going for Glaive Adepts, he started going for Charge Lots, he started adopting a lot more standard styles, and it was a little bit sad because it's like, well, it feels like Shakti lost a little bit of his identity, but at the same time, he like increased in skills so much more. So it makes sense, like what's standard is standard for a reason. And because of that, Shakti became a lot more unpredictable. Speaking of unpredictability, Shakti opens up with 2 oracles and has a 3rd oracle on the way as well. So this isn't mass oracle by any means, but going for a triple oracle opener means you can be that much more aggressive. You can commit and ignore a queen, for example, ignore a spore and just go straight to the mineral line and get drone kills. And that 3rd oracle also helps out in the defense to keep your 3rd base alive. especially against Ling run-bys. 2 Oracles dip in, they get 2 drones, not the biggest of deals, but at least the Oracle survives so they can dip in again. Meanwhile, we have a Ling being a little bit annoying at home, but I mean, that is what this Oracle should be for, as the Ling show up. Oh my god, they get a full surround on the Adept! But Oracle show up, and they will keep this alive. Up. Get another probe. Not bad. And once this third base gets up and running, now the power of the triple Oracle kicks in. Oh my god, just the sheer DPS here is insane. Still very, very fragile units, but a lot of potential damage-wise. They can even honestly kill a queen if they wanted to. And they just dip in, they ignore the spore, 3 more drones go down, adding on to the 2 that died earlier, so now in total 5 drones. And they can just keep doing that. They can just keep dipping in. And it's not like Ryu was gonna get a Spire to hunt these down. Like, god no. Like he's not Jim Rising. So again, these Oracles are doing a lot here for Shakti, keeping Ryu at home, but Ryu from here, he is transitioning and he throws down his Hydra Den. So once again going for that Roach Hydra style. But Shakti is actually going for ground toss. Oh my god, you don't see this often enough anymore, but that's why I love it so much when it happens. We have Blink Stalkers, we have +1, we have a Gateway Explosion, and we of course have our Robotics Bay for Colossus or Disruptor. So again, a very different style of Protoss coming out. Finally, 1 Oracle goes down, but for 8 drones? Worth it, mate. 3 more went down, added on to the 5 from earlier. 2 Oracles survive, they can always be recalled back home. And like, never underestimate the power of a couple of stasis wards. Meanwhile, here we go, Shakti is moving out. I'm a little bit scared. Ryu, has he been on top of his scouting? He did see the gateways earlier. He should be aware Roaches and Hydras are on the way. But I'm a little bit concerned that maybe Ryu was a little bit too greedy. He droned up heavily here at his 4th. Went up to basically 80 drones. Does he have enough to defend? That's the question. He does have a couple of Ravagers. He needs time right now. He needs time to get an army out. Oh boy, meanwhile Shakti is giving him that time. He doesn't commit to the fight. Despite there only being 3 Ravagers, he doesn't feel confident enough. He doesn't push in. Backs off instead. And it makes sense because you don't want to hit an anti-timing. Blink finally finished. +1 finished as well. You don't want to be fighting without them. But Shakti actually backs off completely. This is worrisome because Ryu, honestly, his army was lacking. His supply was a little bit high, but that's because of the Roaches and Ravagers. They were inflating that supply. There was an opportunity there for Shakti, not gonna lie. But because he didn't go for it, now Ryu, he gets away with this base, he gets away with all these drones, and now he can get into Lurkers. And Lurkers are exactly what you want against ground toss. Like, I'm not convinced. Like, that's why Skytoss is so prominent. Like, Hydra Lurker Viper just dismantles this army as long as the control is there. And as long as the numbers are there. And by the time Shakti moves out, like, I am worried that Ryu will have what he needs. We'll see, though. Lurker Den isn't done yet, so Shakti still has a window. He still has a window where he can deal damage and maybe even end the game. Here we go, he's pushing in. Again, Lurker Den is not done yet. Okay, do you have a bit of a zoning bile there? 5th base is on the way, quite exposed. Shakti doesn't see it though, so he doesn't know that, again, he has the opportunity to try and deny it. Instead, he rotates around and he waited too long. 5 Lurkers are on the way. And if Lurkers get in, that's going to be it. Viper's coming as well. We see the yoinks of the Colossus. 1 Colossus goes down, so will the 2nd. And without Colossus, how do you deal with the Hydras and the Lurkers? You don't. Ay. Shakti, he just waited too long. He's rotating around. The Lurkers were a little bit out of position, though. Can he do it? Can he push in? Does blink forward. He's avoiding the Lurkers. And with this, he can go straight to the natural, potentially. The Lurkers are just not a part of this fight. Another yoink. Immortal goes down. Finally, the Lurkers are getting a couple of hits in, but they need to be moved forward. Finally, they do, but they get revealed. And now we have the blink forward. There's not enough buffer here. Shakti, can he get on top of the Lurkers? He is. Every single lurker goes down. We have a yoink, but it's a little bit too late. Boys are being pulled, but again, Ryu needs to do this earlier. G gets called, and Shakti takes the first game. Oh my god. Ryu, he was outpositioned. He had to hold on to the ramp, but his lurkers, he was a little bit too slow to move them, and as soon as Shakti got on top of that ramp, we saw how well he could fight and how he just avoided the lurkers for the longest time. He didn't engage with the lurkers until all the roaches and hydras were killed. GG. And to be fair, again, it's one of those things where Shakti had to hit then and there. If he waited even longer, like, it would have been so difficult to break a Zerg player with his lurkers, with creep spread, with bases like that. So that was kind of on a knife's edge there for Shakti, not gonna lie. It's like, mate, you gotta hit now or never, and he did. He was able to hit his timing. Again, Ryu was out of position. He gave up that ramp, and that was like, ramps are just so good in this game. Lurkers were not where they needed to be, and now he's down in this series. And mate, this is a best of 3. And in this best of 3, here in the top right, we have our Peruvian Zerg player representing the CranKy Ducklings, currently down in this series, but not out. It is Ryu. Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have our Brazilian Protoss up in this series, representing Eximius Gaming. It is Shakti. I was worried that he was waiting too long, and honestly, I feel like he did wait too long. Again, it was on Ryu messing up a little bit there with his positioning. To be fair, I have to give props to Shakti for abusing that, seeing a way in, seeing like an angle of attack and taking advantage of that. So to be fair, I have to give him props for that. But at the same time, Ryu also allowed that to happen. So Ryu, I'm sure, a little bit upset about how that game went, but we'll see if he can tighten things up here in game 2 and take this to an ace match. So far, the openers are pretty standard hatch gas pool coming out from Ryu. I was about to say he's not really one to cheese, but we saw him 12 full on Blackburn, so he's got it in him to do something like that as well. And I think what's important is that Shakti, again, showed some of his uniqueness. You know, he went triple Oracle into Blink Stalkers and Colossus. It's not something that you see too often anymore, which is a bit of a shame, but it's also why we love that whenever we see it, because it's something different. And hey, he's good enough to make it work. You don't have to always go Stargate into Void Rage, you know, you don't have to always go Fleet Beacon into Carriers and Turtle Up and get Storm, right? There are other ways to play this matchup. Uh-oh. And speaking of other ways, we have a Twilight Council. It's a little bit worrisome. Oh. Twilight Council is on the way, so we're going to keep an eye on the gases. This is looking like Glaives, 2 on each gas in the main. And if it is Glaives, we have to ask ourselves how many gateways. We saw Infanson go as fine success with 6 gate Glaive Adept, you know, 2 base all in on Hardwire. We could see a more standard 4 gate Glaive Adept instead. Yeah, we'll see as... Oh my god, Lynx actually slip into the base. This was not meant to happen. The Lynx are going to get into the main and they're going to scout. Oh my god. And he's forced to even cancel Glaives just to hide it. Twilight Council is scouted. The Lynx are still in the main. They're still running around. Still delaying the upgrade if he wants to start it. Finally, the Lynx do get dealt with. And... honestly, I don't know if it's worth not starting Glaives. He cancelled it to hide it, but it's like, what else could you be going for, you know? Maybe he wanted to fake a Dark Shrine. I guess that's the only thing I can think of, but like, is it worth it? I don't know. I don't know if it's worth it. Oh my god, that's a lot of gateways. I was talking about 6 gates earlier, and that's exactly how much we have. 6 gate Glaive Adept, it's coming out again. Very committed. And it hits very hard. We saw, even if you have roaches, if you don't have enough of them, these adepts can still break through. Oh boy, as the War Prism is on the way as well. Ryu is still a little bit in the dark. He may be being deceived here. Shakti, he's getting ready to take a third, but he doesn't really intend to take a third. Adepts are already going across the map. War Prism is coming out as well. 2 more gateways? Oh wait, no, okay, that's still just our initial 6. I was like, mate, is he gonna go 8 gate? Unfortunately, no 8 gates. Oh god. But Ryu's, he made another wave of drones. This is a little bit scary. He is set up to wall off at his natural though. That is the purpose of this. The Roach Warren, the Evo Chamber, and the drone. He is ready for this. Can he pull it off? Up. It's the Evo Chamber. Again, this is so risky to try and do. He's relying so much on his own control to get the wall up every single time. God, the Adepts are trying to find a way in. They do not yet. Ryu so far doing a good job with his wall. We have another shade again. We do have our Evo Chambers, but the Adepts they're shaving off a couple of roaches here and there. Meanwhile, the War Prism is trying to find another way in, looking to try and maybe go into the main base. Oh, do we have a wall? Oh, just barely we do. The roaches almost stopped him. Oh god, meanwhile, here we go. All the Adepts are converging on the third base, but we have a Spine, we have a Queen. I said we had a Queen, as the Queen does go down. But the Spine is honestly putting in a lot of work. We have a wall, we do. Oh my god, that was so close. We almost didn't. The hatchery is getting surprisingly low. Oh, we have a transfuse from the low ground though. The Queens, they're ready to intercept the War Prism if it ever tries to go into the base. Meanwhile, another shade. Oh! Could have gone in, but didn't commit. And honestly, Ryu is defending well. He holds. Spinecrawler moves forward, and Shakti never got past the third. He never got into the natural. And Shakti, he's forced to transition a little bit. We have an Immortal on the way. There we go. Third is thrown down, and Ryu sees the third. That's so important. War Prism tries to go into the main base, but the Queens are already there waiting. Deny it again. And Shakti just doesn't find any momentum here. He doesn't gain any ground. I love the lair as well. Like, because the third base is so low, he goes for the lair at the third. The lair is a little bit late though, so because of that, even though we have all these roaches, Ryu can't counterattack. He doesn't have roach speed. Like, you don't want to be caught out with slow roaches, especially if the fight doesn't go your way. Oh boy. Here we go. Meanwhile, Shakti, he's ready for wave 2. Round 2. This time with all his Adepts, he kept a lot of them alive from earlier, and he also now has 2 of these Immortals. Boy, not gonna lie, this is a little bit of a scary push, but we have our Ravagers, we still have a Spine from earlier. We have a couple of Adepts, but again, Ryu every single time is on top of his wall. But can he keep it up? God, the Immortal's getting a little bit exposed, but this time they are safe. We do have a Shades commit in, but there is a wall. They will eventually break through the Evo Chamber, but again, he bought Ryu so much time. Is it going to be enough? Finally, the Adepts, they break in, but can they get into a mineral line? Oh, they don't commit. They go into the main base. They're getting drones. 3 drones go down. 4, maybe 5. Oh, mate, they don't have to commit. Oh, God. Oh, as 10 drones go down. The War Prism is getting so low, though. The Immortals are going to be given up. Ay, ay, ay. At least I thought so. It's going to be so close. The War Prism wants to come back in, but if it gets too close... Oh god, one more shot! It goes down with both Immortals. GG gets called, and Ryu takes game 2. Oh my god. Shakti had 0 supply at the end of that fight. 0 supply. He lost everything. Despite having a third base, he was all in. Third was just for show. And he was dealing some damage towards the end, but it took him so long to do so. To the point where it didn't even matter. He killed 15 drones, but like at that point, because the game had gone on for so long, he had to do more than that. And again, like massive shout out to Ryu for walling off as well as he was with his Evo chamber, for his queen positioning as well. Yeah, what a game. Like that's a game where I would look at for like glaive adept defense. Like this is at this kind of because at the same time you have to have the attention and like the APM to be able to throw down that Evo chamber every single time, because if you don't, like you're relying so much, and your roach positioning relies as well so much on the fact that the shade is never going to finish. You're never chasing the shade. That's what's happening with that. You're skipping out on your lings early on as well to chase the shade. So it's a very different approach to the defense, and it can be risky as well. Yeah, GG. And now we are going into our ace match. Oh boy. We're tied up 1-1. We're going into game number 3. Oh, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Pride of Altaris LE, we have our Peruvian Zerg player. He is red, representing the CranKy Ducklings. It is Ryu. Oh, on Pride of Altaris? Oh, the balls on this man, and spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Pride of Altaris LE, we have the Brazilian Protoss player currently getting 12 pulls, representing Eximius Gaming. It is Shakti. 12 pull. Pride of Altaris has the longest rush distance out of all the maps in the current map pool. And he goes for a 12 pull? Bold move, mate. Bold move. Is it going to pay off? Well, we'll see. Shakti is going for a probe scout. Of course he is. It's very standard in PvZ nowadays, so he will see this coming. Will he be able to wall off in time? Will he be able to get a zealot out in time? That is the question. Oh. As Shakti doesn't waste any time and he goes straight into the main base. Oh boy. And there we go. It is scattered. What's important is that this isn't 6 lings. He's making 2 more behind this. So with 8 lings, Ryu can, even if there's a full wall off, he can focus down one of these buildings and break through anyway. That is what's scary about, again, making another round of lings behind this. Hatchery is thrown down. We should have Shakti chronoing out his zealot, and he will, so we do have a full wall off. But again, Ryu can chip away at the gateway. Thankfully, because of the SimCity, like the gateway is pretty well positioned. There's not that much surface area. But oh god, no, Shakti, ¿por qué? Oh my god, the zealot gets out of position. It doesn't get surrounded, thankfully, but oh god, it will go down. And finally, we do have a full surround. Zealot goes down. We need another zealot though, and it looks like it will just barely pop out. Oh god. That was scary. Shout out to Shakti for his crisis management. Even though the zealot was out of position, he just ran down the ramp to buy as much time as possible for his second zealot. And Shakti holds. And now he's in a great place. Quote unquote great place. Like, sure, he was forced to make 2 zealots and his natural base was delayed a little bit. His tech is delayed as well, so the 12 pool does deal some inadvertent damage, but I'm sure Shakti is happy with how this went, and he's relatively content to throw down his Stargate and get into his game. Meanwhile, this is the scary moment. We have 2 adepts across the map, and link speed is delayed because of the delayed gas. So these adepts, they can be really annoying. Oh god. Slowlings are gonna have to try and deal with them, and they do not commit to the shade. Slowlings are doing a decent job. Another wave was made, just to make sure. Now we have 3 adepts. This is a little bit scary. Oh god, he commits! We have our 3 adepts. He focuses down the workers. 2 already going down. And again, Slowlings struggle to deal with this. Like, the adepts, they just walk away. They don't even care. They shade into the main base. More drones go down. This is the danger of 12 pool. Like, the follow-up adept aggression can do so much. I don't want to say game ending, but 7 drone kills this early on to adepts is brutal. It's a brutal start here for Ryu. I'm sure he wasn't expecting 3 adepts. Usually it's just 2. But yeah, it's rough. It's definitely rough. We have the Oracle coming out across the map. The Spore looks like it's going to finish just in time. We have a Queen in position as well, so this Oracle shouldn't deal too much damage. He dips in anyway, and up, he gets 1. Ooh, almost for the cause of his life. And what I like about what Shakti is doing is that he's just keeping up the aggression. Once again, for the 2nd time this series, he is going for triple Oracle. Like, with this hyper aggression, like, he's just gonna keep getting drone kills. Like, he's just gonna keep Ryu on a low economy. And Ryu was already struggling, and behind this we have a 2nd Stargate. Oh god. Again, another drone goes down. Just for shields. We have a 3rd coming across the map. Ryu, he's trying desperately to stabilize, and again, he's not dead. I don't want to say that, but he's dying. he's dying right now. He's in a coma. Oh god. Someone help this man. Where's the doctor? The Oracles are dipping into the main base. They can focus on the Queen if they want. They didn't even care. They just go for the drones. Ugh. 3 more go down. 4, 5, 6. At least it was for the price of 1 Oracle, so Shakti shouldn't be able to do that again, but he doesn't care. The Oracles have paid for themselves. They're alive. They're going to be able to throw down stasis spores. They're going to be able to be with the army. Ryu, this can get him back into this game. This gold base is so important for Ryu. Like, thankfully he's on Pride of Altaris, so he has a gold base available to him, and it's going to be a way for him to recoup his losses, to get back into this economically if he gets it saturated. And if that happens, then he's still in this. He has a fighting chance. Meanwhile, we still have continued Queen production. We have a lair on the way. I'm sure he wants to go into Hydras again. Now, what is scary is that if Shakti hits before this gold base gets up and running, he's working on Charge, he's working on Templar Archives, Charge Lot Archon, Void Ray, Storm. Like, that's going to be coming out here for Shakti. And that does so well against Hydras. Oh god, 5 more gates on the way. There's the Hydra den. The best way to deal with this is to get lurkers out, but because Ryu's been delayed so much, like, lurkers are a long ways away. We need a main army. A couple of drones are being sent over. Queens are at the gold. Maybe they can pick off a Void Ray. Nah, Shakti's too good. Shakti's too good for that. Backs off, Oracles dip in. Oh, there's no Queen in the main. 3 more drones go down. But the gold base is being saturated. It doesn't matter though, because Shakti, he's ready to go. Charge is done. Archons are out. Warp Prism is done as well, so Shakti is going to be moving out across the map. This is scouted by Ryu. Ryu needs everything in his power, everything available to defend. He needs to bring forward stack defense, he needs spores, he needs spines, he needs everything. Or he's dead, me. Here we go, this is it. We have our warping of zealots. They're going to be pushing forward. We have a lot of queens, we need transfuses. Here we go, the Chargers trying to push on forward. Roach has come out just in time, and I love this. He didn't go straight into Hydras, despite getting the Hydra dead. If he went into Hydras, he'd be dead right now. Roaches are so important against all these Zealots. And Shakti, he can't find a way in. Oh my god, the Roaches are the real MVP, the Queens as well. Who needs Hydras? I mean, Ryu does. He still he still wants to get into the Hydras. But he wasn't greedy. Like, again, I've made this mistake myself. When I see a push coming and I have a Hydra den, it's so tempting to make Hydras, but Queen Roach is just better. Oh boy, and here we go. Shakti doesn't find any ground at all. And despite Ryu taking so much economic damage, because of this gold base, his economy, it's fine. It's better than fine. Look at that. The graph was deep in the blue earlier, but now it is deep in the red. Ryu has recovered economically, but we still have nothing but Zealots coming out. Like, this is still an army to be respected. Hydras are now on the way though, and they have a Roach buffer. Oh, here we go. Ryu, he is fighting back, and that Zealot buffer from earlier is going down. The Archons are falling as well, and with the death of the Archons, Ryu, he can just keep on going. Oh my god, Shakti, he was doing so well this game. GG gets called, and Ryu takes the series. Doesn't even need lurkers, mate. Shakti, he killed so many drones this game. He was crippling the economy so much. And he was working on this big push with charge lots, but Ryu, he saw it coming, and he responded so well to it. Not just that, gold base, mate. I 100% believe that if this was on any other map, if this was on Glittering Ashes, I feel like Ryu would have died. Like, the gold was so important there for him. Wow, I'm so impressed. GG.